Well, we're being told that Ukraine will be front and centre of these discussions between the three leaders, and that is because Europe really is growing quite concerned about the shifting dynamics on the battlefield there. We know it is having to ration its ammunition now as supplies do start to dwindle, and given the political deadlock in Washington, of course, that major $60 billion defence package being held up on Capitol Hill, there is growing pressure on European countries to try and step up and provide more military aid for Kyiv. As I say, they say they are growing increasingly desperate. Now, we know that ammunition is really the main concern, but already there are some issues. The European Union, for example, has signalled it wanted to send 1 million shells to Ukraine by March, but it will miss that target by some 500,000. And it's those types of problems that we understand are being discussed right now in that building behind me there between those three leaders, because there is a real sense here that if something doesn't change soon in terms of weaponry supplies to Ukraine, then Russia could continue to make advances, particularly in the east of the country. And so we are expecting a press conference quite soon where we are awaiting some more details.
Well, Trent, we know that differences still remain in Western allies' approach to their support for Ukraine.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, particularly between Germany and France, of course, we see from President Macron some quite hawkish rhetoric, if you will. I mean, even discussing at one point the possibility of not ruling out putting French boots on the ground in Ukraine, an idea that was very quickly shot down by Chancellor Scholz here. He said it's a complete red line for him and no German forces would be in Ukraine. But German government officials will privately grumble, if you will, that while the French president talks quite tough on Ukraine, he doesn't necessarily match it in terms of military contributions. The latest estimates suggest that France has handed over around $700 million worth of military aid to Ukraine. That compares to Germany, who's handed closer to 19 billion. And so we expect those differences will be sort of part of the discussion today, particularly at the press conference. We also are wanting to hear some more around the possibility of German Taurus missiles being handed over. Again, Chancellor Scholz has been holding very firm on not providing those advanced long-range missiles, but that is a real contradiction to the French position. They've handed over a number of their own version, which is called the Storm Shadow.